Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
To live, to exist anywhere in the universe. Be it this on this planet, be it in the space, to manifest itself in a combination of tangible and non-tangible existence, but containing continuity of life. One will come to understand one needs different dimensions of connection, as we have talked about before. Carbon-12 is what we call as an energy pack, is for life existing, connected in a common denominator to what we call cosmic rays, which usually work on the back of the carbon-14. But in a way, if you understand it, as we spoke last week, and we showed some explanation and figures last week, the common denominator, what we call the DC line, stays on the hydrogen. The carbon characteristics is overloaded on this common denominator. So when you come into the matter state, life state on this planet, you get a deviation or division or isotopes of plasma energy, not matter state energy, of carbon. That it connects you to the source, but it connects you to the matter state, which is carried by the carbon. In a way, if you would have understood, and this is for the scientists who understand or come to understand this technology in the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation in the future, is you have that common denominator hydrogen, which connects us to the creator and the creation. And then we are overloaded on top of that with matter state energy plasma at the time, place, and point, which means we travel on the carbon-12 on the atmospheric condition, gravitational condition of this planet. But on another planet, another position, we get a conversion of the carbon, which comes to be an energy level, what we call as a radiation of carbon-14, to become matter state in that position. What this means is that in the universe, once the line of common denominator is established and then overloaded by the energy fields, which is the deviation according to interaction of the fields of the environment, then that environment dictates how carbon-14, as what we call cosmic ray, is converted into that matter in interaction with the field, gravitational magnetic fields of the space, time, and position, which leads to the condition of creation of new life in that position. This is important for our knowledge seekers to understand, and the scientists who work in the space technology of the future. What this means, if you want to travel from Earth to another system, another planet, you travel on the common denominator of hydrogen with overload of the amino acid carbon connection of the man to the conversion of magnetic fields in a way of gravitational magnetical field of the position that allows you to manifest yourself in that time, space, and position. Which means if you land in a place that there is no carbon, it doesn't mean it cannot exist. When man understands this, when the scientists can go through this conversion, so when we send the man to space, we send the man with the amino acid of the Earth to space, plus the conversion to the time and place and position. So in a way, let's say you have Mr. Cohen, and in that position, carbon-14 in conversion by reflection of the carbon-60 of the what we call universal strength can convert to be potassium. So you actually have Mr. Cohen plus potassium, plasmatic magnetic fields, and this allows you to create a new, what we call, as you like it, hemoglobin, that man can survive in that place and position and can react and live the position and time and space. We know this knowledge, we know this technology, we see it on a daily basis, but we never understood this. If you look at what we call the plants, which eat flies, which eat live animals, they trap them in and then digest them. They go through this process because once the clap are closed with a fly inside it, now is not any more atmospheric condition, is the plasmatic condition of the two surfaces which they have trapped the animal in. It's like the jaw of the man, when he closes, when you close, you put a banana in your mouth and you close your mouth, that banana is not a banana plasmatic condition anymore, even if it looks as a banana in your mouth. So, if you understand this, man will learn from these plants, man will learn the cosmetic condition and universal condition and cosmic ray condition of the conversion into existing two dimension in space that allows the soul of the man, when returns back to earth condition, to go back on carbon-12, amino acid, look like a man, hemoglobin, and the structure of the man. Then you understand, we call it amino acid, but the amino acid, the strength of the hemoglobin is different than amino acid of the plant. It's different than amino acid which created the stone. Then man has to find out how to create the same amino acid combination of Mr. Cohen, that they can coexist and live within each other and through each other. What this means, it means when I put you in a system with your beautiful dress, you're going to a wedding from London to New York, and you happen to be hungry, or you carry an apple in your handbag or a banana just in case you go hungry, I have to transfer your amino acid of your human flesh. I have to transfer the amino acid of the apple or a banana, and I have to transfer the amino acid of the clothes you wear. If you cannot get this right, we have a beautiful woman in birthday suits in New York with no food to eat because we forgot to transfer the handbag. We did not understand the concept. And this is why many of you knowledge seekers who've been with us cannot manifest yourself. Because we never allowed, we never built this into our systems, even though we know about it for decades. With a new system, which is developed with the Keshe Foundation, all these matters now is complete. Which means, in the coming time, when we put you through these tests, like those of you who join us tomorrow, not only you'll be able to transmute in the dimension of energy of the soul, you can transfer the plasmatic condition of the amino acid of the content of your body. In a way, you just had a beautiful steak in London, and sorry, we forgot to carry the steak. You arrive in New York and you're hungry because we didn't have the right combination of the mustard and the chips you had with the food in London, because there is amino acid of vegetation inside, different than the amino acid of the body. This implication, understanding of this science, it needs to be unraveled, it needs to be understood. And the prime position to understand this for the scientist is in the stomach of the man, the same as that plant which closes. How we convert the amino acids of different structures into what we call energies of the body of the man. How do we convert the or calcium or magnesium tablets, which is in the solid state, into your body, and then you take the energy of it? Our body does this transmutation of the energies automatically, but we never understood, and we just do as we done. Ignorance is a bliss. Now that we have entered the science of transmutation, energy transfer, we have to understand, otherwise, unfortunately, you don't want a bride to turn up in a wedding from another planet naked because you forgot to add the amino acid of the position, connection of the time and the space and manifestation. You got to understand, as I said, you have not even entered standing up, let alone walking on the steps of the knowledge of the universe, which is thousands of steps.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 526th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops. And once again, we have the pleasure and honor of having Mr. Mehran Keshe as the presenter and teacher in today's workshop. And I believe he is ready to go and riding the cosmic rays. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to present?
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you, as usual, whenever and wherever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. As usual, welcome you back, and we try to add to the knowledge. As you heard in the intro, we have entered a very delicate subject of us really becoming passengers of universe. We thought we got everything done with star formation and everything else, but now you realize your star formation fuel is of the wrong type. You need the right types to be able to make that span, to be able to travel. You cannot do this with matter state. You cannot do this with confirmation of the what you thought cancers will give you, because as I said, you have not learned about the conversion of the fields and matter to fields, and either way, understanding the totality. If you listen to the intro, which is part of the last week teaching and teachings before that, you must have triggered something in your knowledge. Or the discussion must have triggered some gap, or what was said has not fully been understood. Listen to the intro, and listen to the teaching of last week many times. You will find out I unraveled the mystery. Unraveled a knowledge that brings a very big question mark on the whole theory of evolution. We have evolved on this planet by immigrating, moving, going from one place to another, by nature of the place, magnetic field, change our feature to short, black, white, blue, Chinese, God knows what. If you understood the teachings from the beginning, and maybe the concept has come to you in one point or another, question you ask yourself, which in a way was answered last week, and I try to expand on it that you understand it more in depth. We explained that you manifest a time, place, and position according to its fields, according to the strength that it allows you to manifest. Look at the body of the man. Look at the intriguing combination of the layers, organs, cells, operation, the design, the shape, the intelligence, the emotion, and the soul of the man. Ask yourself one simple question. If you are not prejudiced towards what you've been taught, and that question is, if man could immigrate and go through evolution and become so many different races and colors and whatever and animals, according to the time, place, and position, as the man could physically take himself to, and in interaction of soul of physicality of the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of the time, place, and position, and the planet, you convert it to short, tall, black, white, and the rest of it. Then there is a very big question mark. When you look at the intriguing structure of every cell of the body of the man, how kidney has different operations, filters for different things, liver, structure of it. The question for you is, was the planet Earth so clever to produce this structure over billions of years and connect it through what we call neurosystem and the blood? Or if you understood the subject of transmutation, was the RNA of the man universal condition in arriving on this planet in the right place, time and position, having the right field strength, has gone through a transmutation where this intriguing structure of the body of the man is actually completed in another time, place and position in the universe. And depending on how the position and time and the place has been, has created life due to its moisture structure and upper atmosphere, as we've seen from NASA, in the oceans, as we've seen in what man calls in Africa, and in Central Africa in a lake, and in North America in another shape or form. And as we know scientifically, originally it wasn't just one race. There were other races that over time one has eliminated one or has integrated one race into another that now has reached the man of today. So as the field of the universe, carrying the information, the time and place, as you were the woman in London going to the wedding in New York, you're transmuted and you manifest yourself in different color and shape. As these fields of the structure of the physicality of the man on the back of the amino acids of the carbon-14 in conjunction with physicality of the structure of the carbon-60 manifesting, interacting themselves as man of one race in North Europe and man in one shape in Africa and man in another shape in Australia and the rest. But in fact, the information arrived on this planet at the same time and the place and the condition of the position and time created different man on this planet. Then this makes sense, because stupidly man does this. This is the kidney, this is the layers of it, this is the function of this place, this is the function of that place. Excuse me, 4 billion years, according to our scientists, is not enough to develop such an intriguing structure of body of the man. So man has to accept he has gone through what we call changes, evolutions, after arriving on this planet through the fields of the universe. If you understand this, this gives you a massive step forward, which means if you can go back to the original fields, which is within the structure of the amino acid of the man and in the RNA of the man, man can go back as a natural way to other time and place and position where the origin of life was transmuted to this planet. When we tell you, we take you back to the universal community, you already came from the universal community. Isolated yourself and became a village where the city and its citizens outside carried on with their work. The interesting point for many of the scientists of the future is when we come across the citizens of the universe, would we look into their structure to see where our ancestral life in the depth of the universe comes? Which one of them has familiarity in the space-time and energy as us on a basic level that shows we are cousins? We have a forefather. And see how they evolved their kidney and the brain and how we evolved ours. So if you understand this opens a new dimension to the knowledge. But the interesting point for you will be that the man who you are, the spin of its fields of energy of the universe, has a share in your soul, connection to your soul. And interesting enough, as man has created other souls to penetrate, to become part of the structure of the universe, has passed this information on to the next cycle, the next generation of life in the universe. It'll be intriguing how the scientists, now knowing that they themselves are part of the travelers of the universe, arriving on this planet, going through what I call no immigration passport control, arrived, and then in that process, what we call took changes according to the time, place, and space on this planet. Evolution of the planet Earth. But the soul of the man, the original part which arrived as energy, has gone through the evolution of it for this planet, coming from another dimension and place. In a very short time, we opened that channel. And if you understood that, you understand why when you dream, you call it a dream, you've been going places you do not know, some aliens, some familiar. And then you come to understand the knowledge is embedded with you in your RNA, in the original fingerprint of the universal energy, and you carry all the knowledge. And you're still looking for it. The only thing you have to do, the only thing you have to look for is the key to that knowledge. Is embedded with you. It's within your RNA, it's within the structure of it. But as you travel through the dimension of the information line of the universal community through carbon-14, with the interaction of the what we call physicality of carbon-60, you carry the knowledge of the universe, and you travel in this dimension. And once you understand this, a lot of times which you don't remember as part of the dreams of your sleep time will start making sense, and you find out this brain has never stopped. The time you dream about the uncle, it could be 5 minutes of 8 hours of sleep. Where is the other 7 hours and 55 minutes has been spent? In understanding the new knowledge and exploring the depth of it, you will start seeing why the scientists, through their ignorance, say man only uses few percentage of his brain, where in fact the brain is continuously used 100% by the soul for its interaction and memory bank of data all the time. As I said to a scientist, when we were doing the condition of one of the coma patients, I explained this, and if you understand what it means, you have solved half of the problem of your knowledge and understanding, is that the brain scientists tell us we use 5 or 10% of the brain and the rest of it is not used, where it shows their ignorance. You put your arm on your side and don't use it for 10 years. It rots. it hangs. The muscles won't move. The fingers go through all sorts of changes because it's not used. Then think, is there any part of your brain which is dead, not working, wasted, just to be there because it was created? Or does your brain stays fresh, working and continuously operating? Which means it never stops working. It's in use. Is our scientists, through their ignorance, have not understood the other 85–90% of the brain of the man, while the man says is not used, is continuously used by the soul of the man by connection to universal field strength and other operation of the body of the man. So we see how science changes, how much wrong information we are given, and how as knowledge seekers we have to open these doors. And in a way, walk away from fallacies of the past. Then it comes to you in how you connect yourself to this carbon-14, how you use the carbon-60, how you open the door of the what I call the knowledge of universe, and you become part of the universal community in the field of strength, time, place, and position. Creating condition of life through what we call the transportation fields of the universe is different. And in so many ways, man needs to step up to do. And then you come to see how the universal community works. By knowledge, universal technologies, and understanding of the work of the universe, which in a drips has become part of what we call the life of the man. Now, it's for you knowledge seekers to develop technologies which are connected to the carbon-14, carbon-12, and carbon-60, and then carbon-840. You understand why this 840 will come and 860 will be conditioned on the back of it. These are not the knowledge that man knows, and in the future become part of the work of intelligence, communication, and life process of the man. It'll be interesting how man will realize this. There is a common denominator working in a way isotope combination of fields of the universe. We call it the carbon in the universe, known as connection lines. How we change fields, radiation into matter state. And this has been the dilemma of the man. On Earth, we create the atmospheric condition of the Earth as our scientists tell us. And then we give it inertia to give it the manifestation of the matter state. In the universal magnetic fields, condition of the containment and what you call inertia of the matter becoming inertia of the confinement of the fields of the universe is done through carbon-60. And in connection with it, the carbon range isotopes of 800. This will give you multifaceted structures which allows you to live in a space, go through transmutation, and then arrive, manifest yourself in a time, place, and position. The carbon 800 plus, which will come as part of the structure of the work of the transmutation, will be taught thoroughly in the coming time. This material, these kind of the structure of the field energies, will bring about conditions that man can transmute to every dimension in the universe instantaneously, and 100% guaranteed that life will never end in any shape or form. In the world of the physicality, you eat food, different combinations to support different field strength structure of the body of the man. In the universe, you need to tap into the universal energy to be able to feed every layer energy, feel the strength of your soul, or your transportation system, or whatever you call it. And this cannot be done by just seeing the fields, feeding the fields. You have to be within the zone, you have to be in the structure that holds on to these points of energies, and there are huge number of them across the universe. In a way, they are your takeaway in the space. They're your supermarket with everything you need in it for you to survive any time, place, and position in the universe. It's just for you to know where to shop and from which shelf to pick up the right thing, depending which, what they call, taste of the emotion your body has. Do you like a Chinese or would you like Indian? And when you go to the supermarket, you cannot buy the herbs of Chinese to make an Indian food. It does not work. If you understand this, you will find out I have opened the secret of creation and life of the man in the universe. But in the coming time, we'll explain it more in detail. I go through this in a very thorough way, show you the systems, materials which bring you to that position, which allows you to understand and walk away from what you call ganses and other things, but you understood the physical structure, the field interaction of these materials. As we progress, our scientists are developing these technologies, and it can be shown. In Sanya, you will see one of the most sophisticated, advanced technologies that none of you have ever seen, understand. And this will bring you new dimensions. And this brings you new understanding. Those of you who attended last Friday, many of you have gone through evolution of life in your cycle of thinking, physical life, and emotional, and a living life. A number of you have started a transmutation by wish, by will, but you still get lost in it and you don't know where you are, and you go and do things, and now you're getting more confidence to become the transmuters. You find emotion, the strength of emotion of transmutation, which gives you the transmutation. And some of you have not touched that. You're still looking for physical transmutation, but you have to understand, you have to carry the emotion of the time, place, and the position, and the emotion of the soul of the man to give yourself manifestation of physicality. Now you understand how advanced some of your knowledge seekers through emotion and feeling have come and becoming and moving forward with. You go shopping, you go down the road to somewhere, and you come back and you're aware this was the soul trip. I'm still here in the physicality of the man. As I get reports from different knowledge seekers since last Friday, as we tested a new system, overcoming, superimposing the field strength of the emotion and what we call plasmatic condition of cosmic rays over what we call the physical matter state. So you have started going through learning and understanding the process. And when you go through the full transmutation, you're not scared. You're not afraid, what's this in front of me? the body is not what I know, but it follows my instruction. Or it doesn't follow my instruction because I haven't made the right connection to it. Now you understand how the process of creation, as you thought you went through the evolution of time and place and space and position on this planet over thousands of years, applies the same to where you came as energy to go through the evolution of life in the universe to become man of the earth. As you are part of it, you came from it. And this intriguing structure of your kidney and liver is not the product of this planet. In a way, it has been served on silver platter. And the chef of the fields of this planet has changed it to a beautiful dish as what we call the human body and the rest we see on this planet. What becomes important for you, and in a coming time will show, is the delivery of the energies of the universe, making man to become the passenger of universe than the village of the man. And you cannot do this, unfortunately, with little knowledge of what we call the magnets and nano-materials. You have creating universal materials in the plasma condition is the opening of the new science for man, where you create fields of the universe in the dimension of both manifestation of the fields and interaction of the fields and a combination of the fields to create time, place and space. As part of what I call carbon 800 plus, in a coming time, you will understand how this works and how most of the planetary systems, solar systems, cosmic systems and universal systems all work through the division of the field forces of this combination. And depending at what level, at what strength you use this combination, will give you from plutonium to hydrogen. From materials man cannot even imagine exist, with atomic numbers by order of magnitude bigger than what man has in his periodic table. It's important for you as knowledge seekers to move into understanding the field forces of the creation, not number of turns of the matter state of your coils. Look at the design and the intriguing structure of the brain of the man. Then understand the complexity of the life in the universe, which this, what you call your brain, is a drop in the ocean of the knowledge and the creation and the created matter life in the universe. Now you understand why in the teachings of the past I have mentioned many times, when you travel from Earth to another dimension, the amino acid structure of your brain cannot exist because there is no nitrogen in that environment. So what happened? It'll be your device. It'll be conversion in what we call evolution of life for you, or you know how to handle it and you dictate the position, time, place and energy strength of your field. Then if you understand this, when you travel from London to New York, you decide to manifest as a woman in a wedding dress, as understanding the structure of the fields as a dog, or the rose which the lover gives to the physicality of the woman at the wedding party. You can even go into the dimension of becoming the structure of the ring and feel how it feels, emotion, directly in touch when it goes on the finger. You need to understand why for past months and years I keep on telling you, please ignore the structure of the turns of the maglev and look at the fields. Now you understand how those fields play the game and how you can use them to create the understanding of the evolution in the universal community and not just evolution of the man on this planet. You need to develop technologies that it brings into play the carbon 12, 14, carbon 60, and then go in understanding of the what I call cubical structure of physics with isotopes of carbon 48. You got to understand how the system is nourished. If you take carbon 60 and if you understand the operation of cosmic rays, there is a big discrepancy in the energy plasmatic fields, and depends on the angle of entrance of the field into the surface area of the what I call containment of the carbon 60, the crystal structure. And that interaction leaves a residue which becomes the energy within the structure of the carbon 60. You have to understand the what I call how we explain energy from the beginning in the teaching of Keshe Foundation. And if you understood that, now you understand this part. We always said in the plasma technology, energy is considered to be magnetic fields in motion. And when you have 5-ray isotopes of carbon 14 hitting a carbon 60 surface containment, has a residual that in a way becomes what you call field radiation, and becomes the energy essence of keeping the crystal structure in operation. If you have 5 field strength to 5 what I call dimension of carbon 12, you understand this clearly what it means and how you can transmute, use the energies of the difference to sustain life within the crystal. And this is how your soul works. This is how your central energy works. This is why I kept on saying for decades that the food you put in your stomach is only 20% of what you actually absorb from outside, because this, what you put in stomach, it once converted into plasma, become precursor, become the source that is higher strength trying to feed, it feeds the body of the man on its way. Now this brings into focus a lot of teachings of the past. They're all coming together to give you the time, place, position, manifestation, transportation, transmutation, and everything else that is in your hand, and no one can touch it. Nobody can preach you with it unless they want to find a way to steal it from you, in a way taking it from you or connecting to you to use your resources than theirs. And as it cannot happen, you understand the understanding, the knowledge of the creation. So, for the first time, maybe in a deeper understanding, you understand that even the physicality and the soul of the man is an evolution of the science and technology of the universe, which has found its time, place, and position in the condition of the fields of this planet to manifest itself as man. or any other creatures. And you understand this if you comprehended the meaning behind it, means you're just part of an evolution of the soul of the Creator. And not more and nothing less. Then you understand, I made man in the image of myself, which means it's me, you're just in a way dressing it up with your physicality. And in that process, with the interaction of field of the time, place, and position, which itself comes from another field, the strength of me, creates a new you, or what you call your evolution. You look at the soul of the man, you look at the physicality of the man, and you say, now I understand I came from another planet, or whatever connection, soul, understanding the fields. Don't forget, this planet came through the same system. It's the interaction of what I call uncle with a niece, where the niece was created out of the interaction of the same, but connection to another. Now, those of you who understood this should be able to create the first transmutation systems without the matter and without ganses. And those of you who cannot will have a piece of news for you after the break. But you have to understand how you use the knowledge to be part of the structure, and you not use the knowledge to destroy the structure, as you shall not be allowed. Now you understand the purpose of carbon 60, the purpose of the carbon 800 range, and the purpose of what we call, especially carbon 840 and carbon 860. This will play a huge game in which part of the universe you connect yourself. And you have to understand this. The scientist of the man has to understand the gameplay of this structure. And one day man will come to understand this position. It has no choice. If you wonder why I brought the subject of carbon 840 and 860 range, soon you'll understand. This is the energy fields of the unicos. This is the energy fields of the universe in conjunction, in interaction with each other. We speak about carbon 60, which is the combination and structure of the physical matter of the carbon 12, and the point of the place and the common information of manifestation. Then we speak about the dimension of the carbon 14, which is an energy pack system, not a physical dimension pack system. Then we speak about carbon 60, which gives the structure of the matter state conformation of the existence in a crystal structure of the time, place, and position. Now, if you take 60 of the carbon 14 with a carbon 60 itself, you'll find you reach a new dimension of carbon 840, which this gives you another dimension in the universal energies. But man has to understand the formation of the carbon-16 and how carbon-16 plays the what we call imprisonment of the fields, conversion of the fields of the universe into the matter state to be able to survive in the tent in this crystal structure existence, but at the same time to be dynamic fields and not a solid state, diamond on the ring of the matter. If you understood this, and you understand the conformation of the carbon-14, carbon, what we call 840 and 860, then you understand I have given you the key to transmutation across the universe. Giving the strength by the order of magnitude to the whole structure. And then you understand why universal field forces, communication within the structure of it, brings into play a new cycle of life for man. Transmutation at higher speed, instantaneous. And then you understand why I said many times, when you look at the star, what you see is already connected to you through the dimension of the zero time, place, and position and energy. As a steer, you have the same strength in your body that you see. Because what you see as the stars in the sky is a fraction of total lives in the universe. In the empty space gaps between what you call planetary system and the stars is actually a dimension of another plasma which has been blind to man through the strength of his amino acid plasmatic magnetic fields. Otherwise the universe is a one solid gel. There is no empty spaces, and you only see what your amino acid field strength is in parallel with the what I call energies of the universe open to your amino acid. Outside, they say 5% of the universe is made of planets because they never understood that the 85 is more solid than what you see as your stars. But it's the gel connecting, holding all that together. And as you don't have the knowledge, you are, as I said, ignorance is a bliss. Now, the job of you as knowledge seekers and the future scientists is understand the key of transmutation, understand that you are part of what arrived and not what part of created all in, and you have in a way converted some to fit to live on this planet, and you've gone through mutation. As I said at the end of the book 1, God is a creator of all and man converter of some, because he doesn't understand the rest of the other some through the lack of knowledge and his total ignorance of its own existence. So maybe today for the first time you have the confirmation. If you understood the process of evolution, if you understood the process of carbon-16 and carbon-14 and carbon-12, you, my dear friends, are all passings of universe. You immigrated without passport. It's the field strength of this planet by your ancestors some time ago, and you claim it to be yours. Now you understand the truth about your own. You're nomads of the universe, and everybody else is in the same shoe. We go through a break and we come back, but now open your eyes into what is to come. And a new cycle of technologies and sciences that we open for you to be able to go through what is your wish, to remember life in the dimension of the man, and at the same time have the emotion of the universal community that you are part of, and you're just finding your cousins. Have a wonderful time. Then these cousins are billions of them. And they all look different as they went through their own evolution of time, place, and space, and position. Break. Take us through a break. We come back and we carry on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. This is the 526 Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and we will be back shortly.
The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo, and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit. A plasma space technology to prepare humanity for transportation and transmutation in deep space. Essential processes are embedded to prevent mutations and psychosomatic conditions during deep space travel. This new system is designed to support upper body conditions, especially of the lungs and intestines, and can be targeted specifically for each organ. When inside the Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the body experiences balance in totality, enabling it to correct and rebalance all the fields within itself. The new Vertical Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a dimension in health and transportation never seen before.
Okay, we're back again at the 526 Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. And because it's the second part of the show, that means we get to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. So I remind our attendees here in the Zoom that you can put up your virtual hand and we can acknowledge you and allow your microphone to be open. And others in the YouTube chat or the Vimeo can put questions in the chat there. Okay, Mr. Keshe, how would you like to proceed?
Oh, very easily as usual, as before. As is our tradition, we make some announcements here that bring the knowledge seekers up to date. First of all, is that the Chinese knowledge seekers, that only applies to knowledge seekers because you have to have a Q connection and a WeChat and whatever it's called to be with us in what we call meeting of tomorrow at 8 o'clock Beijing Central Time. We have invited knowledge seekers across China to join us in this QQ presentation, and in a way to what you call answer some of the questions and other points which is concerned with Sanya and what we call the upcoming conference in China and our collaboration and cooperation with the Chinese community. We try to keep the same one more QQ before the conference in Sanya, and to bring up to the position of what it needs to be known and what is there to be done. Our work will carry on the same. The German community has managed to appoint raise funds for 3 members of the German community of the what we call, looks like an Austrian, Swiss, and a German. That will be sent to the Sanya as a representative of the German community, and they've raised funds for an extra 1 or 2, which the foundation is organizing for them to be present from other communities. Still goes on with the Italians are busy to send their representatives, and we haven't heard anything from the Americans because they're the rich lot, they are a stingy lot, they don't like to put anybody there because most of them they go themselves. And we'll see what happens with other communities, even Chinese who will sponsor some people to be present in the conference. As we see, as we explained, new dimensions in technology will be shown, and some of it might baffle you, some of you will bring home a lot of knowledge. There's one interesting point. This we have had for quite some time, but as we enter the dimension and interaction and the fields and the working of what we call carbon-14 plasma, carbon-16, and to understand the work of it and what has a value in the universal structure and what we call matter state, Keshe Foundation has launched a new material, which is a plasmic cosmic ray material. This material will become the backbone of what we call the currency, the existence and the work on this planet, and in the structure development of the future. We have put this material on sale on the Keshe Foundation website. We will not release the method is produced, is converted into cosmic ray as a plasma, and due to its rarity and the way it functions, 1 gram of this material has been put at €1,000. This become very much like a gold-backed currency. We buy, we sell, we exchange this material. It's the same what you had as when you bought the Keshe coins as donation. This is the first time we start the structure of the universal structure, which means this material, if you want, you can use it to create the conditions of the space travel. In a way, we saw the space fuel. It's not easy to produce in different combination. Domination of this will be released in coming time. Every package will have a sealed registration number on it, which means we know it's produced by us, refers back to production, and we know how it is. In a way, you mine the gold, you mine on the internet for Bitcoin. Now you have space back material. This structure, this work will become part of the universal work, and many governments in the coming time will follow. You will understand the potential of it as it comes, and this brings us back to cash coins and the rest of it, which now we have produced and we release material to back. You can purchase this and you can sell it back in the future according to its price. We leave it to fluctuate in the market. This has a huge military and space applications. Government will give their arms to get hold of this material. And this is part of the work we have reached and will go through with what we call the Chinese. This is the backbone of the material into space travel. And in so many ways, it brings a new dimension, a new fuel, new what we call energy pack into the structure of the development of the upcoming science and technology. This material has the capability of the interacting with the soul of the man in the dimensions if it's used in the appropriate way and in conjunction with its strength. We launched this because it's the time to launch it. Even though it will not be understood by many ordinary men. But some of you who are working and trying to become part of the transmutation, you need this material. You cannot do without it. It's one of the impossibilities. And you will understand in time why. We give you a massive option of the different isotopes of this, and according to, they all be the same. Compared to what it is and what will bring, the price we put on it is a peanut. But it needs to start from somewhere. It'll be one of the strongest developments in the space technology of tomorrow. When I show the physical structure of this to the Chinese military, it baffled them. This material used in the right way make everything within its field structure invisible. But you have to know how to use it. And you have to know what you do with it. In bringing it into structure of a home, will bring a new dimension of fields. Will change a lot of things. And in the structure, will bring the new change many people have been waiting for. Transmutation becomes much easier because this is the field within the structure of the house. We gradually feed this as production around the world, and now you understand why we close all our GANs operation around the world. Because it was no use producing something which has moved to the next level of the technology. Do not touch it. If you ever break into the seal, use strong gloves that at least you can absorb some of the energy of it and not direct touch. It's a breakthrough in the world of science, and you will understand it. In touching it, it will bring you a new dimension of thoughts, energy, and in so many ways a lot of other things. But we advise you, never break the seal. In the coming time, we will show you how this material is used, and hopefully in Sanya, for the first time, as I said, you see the evolution in science through development of this material. you will come to a point that we run into this point of saturation, and many of you went through the transmutation on last Friday's session because of the presence of this material. And then we had to stop the session promptly on 10 o'clock on Friday night. As we saw changes, we had to take steps, and we were going to run this session for a couple of days, but the saturation of the fields, conversion of the fields, forced us to abandon after what we are supposed to be until 5 o'clock. We ran until 10 o'clock at night. And then, as I informed the knowledge seekers who were present, we had to close the session to what we call bring everything into conformity and understand what and how things switched over without us wanting. And in analyzing our system over the weekend and thereon, we found out that where the evolution has happened, we know this knowledge, but through a mechanical failure brought this about. And many of you have moved intellectually and what I call understanding wise, one or two nudge up. You know it, how it changes you, how it's changed you. And it has been primarily because of this new field energy which was used and brought into operation, and we told you it'll be different on the what we call last Friday session. Those of you who join us in next month's session, you will feel this in a much bigger way. As we are preparing you for transmutation, as one of the knowledge seekers wrote, now I understand the process. Now I can see how you're educating us, because I've been through it and I see it, and I can do it. You got to remember, we are not magicians, we are scientists, scientific organization, and we have the same way on teaching. This material will bring the next cycle of technologies. If you remember, Mr. Keshe jumped from nano into gases and from dynamic reactors to the other reactors, and everything was a step by step to bring it to it. Now with this, we bring you to the next step of what we call universal energies, universal understanding of the field. You will understand this in the coming time, and you will see how this will work. Putting one or two or three of these across in the house, you will feel the energies and the frequency that you transmute, and how easily you manage to, and gradually becomes part of the structure. Please do not break the seals, as atmospheric contamination, once this is sealed, can change a lot of things inside it. We go as usual with our work, and if there are any questions, I try to answer, and we move on to the next part of the teaching.
Okay, well, there was a question regarding that. I think you've already answered it, but I'll ask it anyway. From a knowledge seeker from the Brazil community, why did the machine lock up and did not want to give anymore in last Friday's session?
Oh, it didn't lock up. We locked it up. We withdrew the material from the system. We withdrew the communication systems out. It locked in too good. And in the coming months, you will receive, you understand new knowledges which you never had before, and then you understand how you have connected to universal knowledge. And some of you have already started since last Friday going to the beginning of that cycle as we get what we call your testimonials. We had to bring the system It's very unusual for me to turn up in the lab at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I had to go there to literally stop the system because knowledge seekers reported that they can hear from certain channels which are closed, and they turned up because we were on the cosmic ray level. And I had to go into the lab and physically terminate, and as I told knowledge seekers, we bring the session to an end. Because there was too much in what I call universal fields, and what I call knowledge was coming through, which was not supposed to. It's too early. Far too early. And that's the reason we closed the session. We as we agreed, for argument with you, was 9 to 5, and usually we leave the lines open over the weekend, but the systems moved in much powerful level, and we had to interfere. Any other question?
Okay, we have a couple of hands up as well as several other questions. Ed, would you like to go ahead first?
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. This is Ed from Indiana. I had a couple of questions occur to me towards the end of your teaching this morning. And the first one is, you were talking about these higher energy structures, like 860 carbon and 40. Does the Earth environment permit the physical manifestation of these higher energy structures?
Of course it has, otherwise we won't exist. But it reduces in field and the strength.
It reduces.
In a way, we take weaker strength of it. It gets diluted.
Okay.
As it interacts with the inertial magnetic field, as it interacts with gaseous inertial magnetic field, it reduces in space. If I can answer you in a very simple way, I love the video of NASA because it opened a lot of things for us to explain easier because it can't physically be seen. The living structures above us on the higher upper atmosphere, which has been recorded, they're the same amino structure as us on Earth, on the physical side, and the same as the fish in the ocean, and living things in the gas in the center of the Earth. But due to the lesser interaction with the magnetic field of the Earth gravitational inertia, they keep what we call a more dynamic translucent energy. But in their lives, they still have the same structure as kidneys, brain, and everything else. They absorb fields, they release fields. They are intellectually very powerful, that they can decide position, time, place, and whatever we see. They're much more intelligent than man in intelligence, in understanding, and their life is much, much longer than man. They live into hundreds of thousands of years, where man is limited. Because they don't have that dimension of physicality, but they absorb huge amount of energies. Without the existence of this layer of life above us, life would not have been the same on this planet. They are the creatures which allow us, in a way they shadow us. We're under the shadow of their field forces that absorb a lot of things which our body would not be able to exist, to maintain, and to hold on to. In the future, you will see these kind of things because you can develop into these structures yourself. So you've got to understand how carbon-14 in a structure with a field create this position. You have a combination of the fields like this. and in the future you understand how the physical structure of different layers of, for example, your kidneys produce, if you understood this. You have a combination of carbon-60 crystal structure. When we talk about carbon-60, it's not that you have a carbon with 60 side. It's the plasmatic field of 60 carbon structure of atomic structure which makes carbon-60. That's what it gives us a structure. 840 is a 60 of carbon-14, which that 60 structure taking shape in the structure of the 60 carbon-60 in the what we call structure of universe will create a new dimension. And that dimension can contain the totality of what we call universal knowledge. It's like a microchip. And we are in it, we are part of it. Now we have to learn how to connect ourselves into it to be able to do instantaneous. The way your brain works. So you have carbon-60, which is a combination of the carbon-12 manipulation energy, and then you have for that 60 of the carbon-14 energy, which gives you the manipulation of 840. And this allows you to transmute between 840 and carbon-60. Then you have a manipulation of 168, which is the combination of another combination of the field forces, which this on its own will create another dimension in the field of science of man, which the 168 is again creates, if you understand it, another structure, which is a combination of carbon-14 and 12. I have to go onto a call, urgent. I come back, if you can take it, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Okay, thank you. So I'm wondering now, as he was just teaching us, this 860 energy structure, carbon 860, that creates, what did he call it, Rick? I thought it creates an environment of the universal understanding or knowledge.
The energy of the universe is one phrase he used.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he
I'm
also
wondering,
called this material space fuel.
yes. You mean the one in the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if there's a physical structure possible in that 860 universal environment.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that well, the C60 has 60 atoms of carbon, and the C8, was it 840?
Mm-hmm.
6663, 16. My calculations here.
Yeah, how did he come
16
up with
times
840? Are you figuring that out?
yeah, I had it here, but see, it's 16 times, see, 60 into 840 is 1, 20, 40. So 14 times 60. So yeah, the carbon 14, 60 of them. So will they be in the buckyball carbon 60 configuration, but of carbon-14 atoms.
Yeah. I don't know, that's a possibility, huh?
Yeah, it's be nice. Maybe we should get Mr. Keshe to do some drawing. Perhaps that would help clarify. He hasn't done a drawing in a while.
I'm just wondering if there's a limit to what physical structures are
I'm
available.
back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Carry on. What was the question? What was the discussion?
I was just extrapolating on what you were just now teaching in answer to my question about whether this environment of the 860 universe, the 860 energy that creates a universe of universal knowledge or something. I forget how you.
840 is in that dimension. 860 is a combination link to the next structure. In the future, I'll teach about that.
Is there physical structure
Yes.
actually available in that
it's
universe?
not a physical, it's a field structure. You have to understand that you keep on looking into what I call the magrav and not the fields of the magrav.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I was thinking, is that it's just an energetic structure, a field
It's an
structure,
energetic structure.
but so physicality is not even available in that kind of universe.
In its own strength, yes, it is.
Okay, I understand.
In its own strength, you have to be in it and have the fields of it. It's in the dimension of the line of the communication or interaction of the fields of the creator in a different strength.
Okay.
You got to understand everything started with hydrogen. The whole life started with one field energy.
Well, that brings me to my second question, but
yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have another question, but please go ahead.
Go ahead, no problem.
Okay, so how do these higher energy structures relate? What is the relationship and the purpose of these higher energy structures in relationship to the common denominator of the creator?
I call it a DC. DC, the base continuous, is the creator, line of creator. In interaction of the fields of it due to residual resistance of what I call field interaction itself, has created fraction and friction, and then the interaction of these fraction and frictions created a carbon-14 and carbon, and then in the interaction of this has led to creation of crystal structure, which has become the creation of the physical universe.
So this is just a natural development of the
It's a natural development. The whole concept that we were bigger and we diminished, we divided, is the fallacy. We started from very little, but a continuous field structure that the interaction of itself by itself has created another dimension and strength. We haven't come from plutonium to hydrogen. We started from hydrogen, and depending on the condition field interaction, we became plutonium. This is a difference between the understanding of the creation in the present world of science and the reality, and that's why man has so much problem in physics understanding the totality of the structure. This I explained, I remember clearly, on a table to a couple of Iranian scientists while we were sitting in a presidential conference room in Tehran, because they wanted a meeting there. We usually used to meet, and that day they wanted to meet at Ahmadinejad's presidential office. And I explained to them, and maybe some 15 years later I explained to them, the creation comes from the same beauty as nothingness and generosity to be in all. So when you get an atom, when you get the first double structure, you call it hydrogen, a proton and electron, in what we call division of fundamental, what we call particle. And then you get the structure of the deuterium and then tritium. And then you move up in understanding, absorbing energy into helium. It's the same process as the egg in the womb of the mother. The egg is there. In creating the right condition environment, on receipt of the right field strength, you will have sperm and it becomes that proton and electron. But the environment of the womb is that galaxy, is that universe. Then you divide, absorbing energy from the division of itself to another cell, and then another cell, and then you become a human. When your parents, or when the creation of life had the first interaction of the egg of a sperm, there was not a human being becoming the egg and the sperm. The initial fundamental base in amalgamating, interacting with the field of itself, which created by itself. That field in the womb of the mother doesn't come from outside. It's created by the mother itself, by the interaction of fields of itself, which matches to the field of the egg, which matches to attracting field parallel in the sperm. And it's no difference between the cycle of the life in the womb of the mother and the process of the creation in the universe. Creation of, by division of, by creating the environment from the itself fields, leads to the creation of life. But in essence, it still is that information came in the egg and added to the sperm, created the first structure. If you understand this, when we look at in protons or neutrons of atomic structures, or when you look at the electrons atomic energy structure, you see they're all different. They're not the same. A layman says a proton has got, 2 protons in it, and so that is. To a scientist, to a man of knowledge, these 2 protons in helium are totally different from each other. They have different combination of sequence of energies. Even the base is the same. That's why they stay separate. And this is the same with the world of creation. Carbon 60 is that seed in the structure of the carbon 814. But it still needs a connection to the other universe, which gives it to partially by the division structure of 860. It's not on its own. It's a conformation of unicos, another universe. You cannot be a universe and part of if you don't have connection to the other part. You cannot just be a kidney and be on your own. You have to be part of a structure of physicality. You have to have a connection with it, energy-wise and physically. And this is the same. This is why in the teaching of last week and the week before, I referred to the football and the 5-sided edge into it. It's the field energy, not the structure being different in the world of the creation. And if you use it the right way, you can bounce on it and bounce off it. If you understand this, and understand the material which is on the screen, and it'll be delivered in much bigger ways in the future, We use it as a universal currency. You want to travel to such a planet, this is the combination of it. As I said to the Chinese military and to the Chinese government when we signed these huge contracts with them, I'm not interested in gas and food. The resources to expand the technology will come from its transmutation, and they couldn't understand. And now you see it on the table. You want to go to Mars, you need the key combination to is on the table. You want to go to another dimension, you have to have what you call the toll, we call it in English. You another motorway, you have to pay for it to go to the destination you go to. You have to have the road. This material is that road. But those of you who bought the 2 discs from us, you're gonna have a wonderful time with 4 or 6 of these in your possession. Then you understand what the next step is. It's I showed this material and I laughed. When the Belgium officers came to my lab and confiscated the nuclear material and put in the nuclear safe in my lab, I said, you stupid guys, you don't understand. The dust on the table is what is the work, not what you locked up. It's understanding. Now that we thought to open the next chapter in 840 and then above, I'm teaching a few weeks ago, I explained to you, I open new doors of knowledge. This knowledge is nothing new, it's been with us for decades. But you couldn't understand. We had to teach. Now you have to understand, with this technology, with this material, you are the soul of the man, you don't need the physicality of the man. Now you understand how we are teaching you to understand the energy center, what you call the soul of you, because it works with this. I can't put your physicality here because this is a field transfer. I can't fit you into as a physical dimension. But I can condense you in a crystal, the structure of the physicality in this material, in the fields, and transmute you instantaneously anywhere else, and you manifest yourself, so you pop out. You go in as a man, you come out on another planet as a monkey, because the monkey in that shape can exist, man cannot. You have a red blood here, and there you have a purple blood. Now you understand. And it has a value. Today we put €1,000 per gram. In a coming time, we're not after the funds, we're after energies that you participate to make a bigger structure and become part of, and then by enlightenment you receive. That's how, it's not a payment, that's how you receive. What I put on the table, what's on the screen, once man understand it, will give life to be able to use all these properties and the knowledge it connects to. You will understand. A couple of our knowledge seekers went through this last week, 2, 3, 4 of them. And they have started transmutation of the energies by will. And it's taken them a few days gradually to understand, oh God, now I can do this. At the beginning, they were, what do you call it, panicking. Now as they do more of it, they understand, they become in control of, they do. But they cannot transfer it to anybody else. It's the elevation of what I call when one man is standing, the last man is standing. What you see as a picture on this screen has changed and will change the life of every living thing on this planet. You will understand. You thought computers change your life, mobile phones? Everything you ever thought is on that. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Welcome. I hope we see you in Sanya.
I'll be there.
Thank you very much. Ed has a beautiful soul. You feel it when he's around you. It's amazing when we met him. Any other question?
Yes, we have several hands up here. I'll start with Salamia. Would you like to go ahead next, please?
Is she awake?
Hello, Salamia. Can you unmute your mic? Or... Okay, well, we'll
I bet
pass on
she's
that for
talking to
now.
herself somewhere. Then she
Okay,
goes, oh, I forgot to put the microphone on. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Ekmar, you're up next, and then we have Renate after that.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Ekmar from
Hi,
Thailand.
how are you?
So, 50-50.
I was
still
talking
problem
to
with
one of the
Natalia.
knowledge seekers about you this morning.
Okay.
Very strange. Carry on.
I have a question concerning what we are seeing here on the screen. The knowledge seekers coming to Sanya, can they take it from Sanya back home? Or because I think when it is valid to 1,000 euro, it will stuck in customs when you send it.
If you pay for it, we'll bring a few pieces. If we can get it through custom, forget about you. But yes.
That sounds good. Okay,
But it has
so
to
then
be
I will
cleared up,
order and I will pick it up in Sanya.
Yeah, you need at least 2 pieces to have the interaction of the fields.
Okay. But 4 is better. Then you can do a
4,
star
then you
formation.
can do a different thing.
Yeah. Okay. 4.
Yes. 4 gives you, but you have to understand what you do with these things. You cannot open them. Don't open the seal. Yeah. We'll try to see what we can bring with us and what is the limitation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you in Sanya. Any other question?
Okay, we have Renate next. Would you like to open your mic and go ahead, please?
Ja, hallo Mr. Keshe. Ich bräuchte, Andreas, übersetzt du?
Who is translating German in the background?
Andreas, übersetzt du bitte?
Yeah, but he's translating it into the German community, or is Mario translating?
Andrea, ich kann übersetzen für dich.
Oh, danke schön.
Would you like to translate for us, please?
Ja, also, hallo Mr. Keshe. Lande ich mit meinem Kleid in einer anderen Stadt, wenn ich mein Kleid mit meinem Speichel benetze?
The question is, if she put saliva on her dress, will she land in a different location?
If she what?
Saliva. What when you swallow in your mouth?
Yeah.
If you put it on your dress, because then she thinks is a different amino acid.
No,
on your
it's
dress.
all part of the same.
Okay.
Andrea,
das ist ganz egal, ob du da Speichel drauf machst aufs Kleid oder nicht. Das ist alles das Gleiche. Also du landest immer in der gleichen Stadt.
Ja, danke schön.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other question?
Okay, we have several questions in the Q&A and a couple on YouTube from Hong Wei and Hong Wei in the Q&A. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I want to ask a question that may be presumptuous. You have been developing the systems nonstop, and seeing that China seems to be suspected of stealing the new technology again, is there not much time?
Let me clarify. The Chinese got battered by the last week, and I told them it's not the government, it's the Chinese community people who are knowledge seekers. Even you got to understand, part of the technology given to Chinese, I explain to you very simply. We have knowledge seekers that are here, they listen to the translation of it, or they're live online. When Corona happened, at the beginning time of Corona, when we gave the COP1 and the military tested it, the military, Chinese military, went to our knowledge seekers and asked, those are very close to me in China, Keshe Foundation, and asked them to join the military to produce the gases for the military and the government, but they don't want to contact Mr. Keshe. And as they are close knowledge seekers to me, they refused. They said that they stay loyal to the foundation, but they can support. A few knowledge seekers who are around the foundation just for the money of it joined the army and went into production with the army. But they never put anything back in the foundation. And they took the glory, and the Chinese army went silent. We have the same situation in Mongolia. In Mongolia, I worked 4 or 5 years in Mongolia. The test with it, the harvesting, everything else with it. And then one of the knowledge seekers behind our back has gone taking the work of the watch the stage with the foundation. And then we have a knowledge seeker who was being with the foundation for a long time, was asked, if Mr. Keshe is not there, would you take over and we deal with you? And we have knowledge seekers who have sold us recently to securities. We have all types. And we have knowledge seekers who worked with us. Some knowledge was given to them, or they took from us in different shape or form, and use it in their name in military. I think I've told you this before, for you to understand how theft is done in science by government. Prior to Corona, and I'm working close with Chinese officials, they couldn't clear out, so how they're going to do it, what they were doing, working with us. Wang Lin and I were invited to one of the most exclusive surroundings in China, to go the next day to meet China aerospace people for what they wanted to the next development of the technology in the space. In the morning we were told, sorry, they don't want to meet you, but we as intelligence officers, we go to them and see what it is, and we come back and we tell you what is the concern or what they want to do. So we made the trip, going to this place, hanging around for a couple of days, being served the most beautiful entertainment and luxury you cannot even imagine exists in the Western world. We waited till the intelligence officer came back. And we were told in a simple way, the Chinese have made your flight system, but they can't fly it. They would like to have the fuel combination. I said, what? In a way, our knowledge seekers, Chinese scientists, are sitting there making the structure, but they cannot fly the UFO because they have not understood the essence of it. They have not been shown the way to do it. So they want to get benefits of it without actually us being part of it. And I know for a fact this is why forced the military and the others to sign the agreement with us to get access directly to the top. Chinese ran into a problem with Corona because our knowledge seekers are the ones who went with the military, are copycats. They don't understand. They just think, oh, Keshe does this, so this is it. And when the Corona mutated, they couldn't come up with a solution. And we saw how it took over China. If the Chinese government would have stayed with us, we gave the cup, they stole a gift and they paid for that stealing. That's, if they would have stayed, how we worked out. The same happened in Iran when we worked with Tehran Defense Military University. The gentleman who was supposed to be the government, then we found that he was actually stealing technology in the university, was part of this structure. And then what happened? The knowledge seekers are here. The officers in Iran Defense University came to us as, we give you 1% of the Keshe Foundation in Iran, 99% is for us. We registered the Corona effectiveness because we tested on 200 soldiers. Within 30 seconds, most of them responded to it. So what? And we took the case to the Iranian authorities and they told us these guys were bandits, which happened to be, and they're not there. If these bandits, not in the Tehran, Iran National Defense University, which we're collaborating, it would have been a different story totally in Corona. Look where they are. Look how those in China who betrayed the foundation will live. We spent days and weeks developing in Mongolia. And this knowledge seeker now has become, we realized how they're doing when the national security officer in charge of the communication with Keshe Foundation went to one of our knowledge seekers, if Mr. Keshe is not there, can you organize it and we can do it without him? And they started doing that. And we did the punishment. It's for that national officers and the member of the Keshe Foundation who set up the things to make this for us, to put it right with the Chinese government, national security. We brought the Americans in a hard way to play with the Keshe Foundation to share technology. Because you stay loyal to people as long as they're loyal to you. You don't betray them and then try to steal it. And this has bothered the Chinese community heavily last week. You talk about the new plasma defense. You don't even know what they've taken from Keshe Foundation. And with the new technology materials we put out, we change the dimension of the reaction. You have to understand. You have to realize. There's an old saying in Farsi, we say, hand washes hand and then it washes the face. And you cannot wash a hand on its own. You just wash one side of it. The back side is still dirty. And what knowledge seekers in China is, don't look to us, look inside, look at those who took and did not put back in. And this will go on. It's not a Chinese disease. We have seen this in France, we've seen this in Italy, we've seen this in South America, we've seen this in Iran even. So a lot of Chinese got offended last week when I explained, as I wrote to them, if you take all the praise, be strong enough to take the criticism and weed out those who do this. One of these knowledge seekers in China, we can reveal his name, he came to me before Corona. He says, Mr. Keshe, I do everything to become as rich as you, even if it means I have to steal from foundation. And he's doing that. But I said, watch what's going to happen to your children and your family. How you balance with the soul of all the knowledge seekers that stood and you steal from them. You all know who he is. So many times I wish him and his family and those who work with him walk away the right way. But you will write the history of his life. The same the ones in Italy. When you steal a gift, it's your habit. And you will not be happy. And even when you come to the creator, you want to lose, to steal from the creator, and you lose. And this is what is life. We hear Chinese are doing a lot of things with Keshe Foundation. Bless your work. But back into the foundation. Not just, I'm okay, Jack, I took whatever. It will be short-lived. All of those of you who went with everything else, see where you are. We had a doctor in Canada who took everything, we taught him directly. We had a couple of more people like this. Where are they? How are they playing their lives? We work with the soul of humanity, not with one man stealing his pocket. And I'm sure the Chinese community will have a lot to say in the QQ tomorrow. And those knowledge seekers who were and worked in different Chinese department sections, join us and work with us, and you will see what it is. Don't get offended, understand. This is a reality of fact. I've also written that Chinese don't steal. Chinese don't steal, but there in China are those who actually steal. We're talking about those, not about Chinese. It was very intriguing for me when I met this few Chinese before Corona, that the guy's ambition is to be richer using my own technology. I thought, boy, where are you going? How would you answer the cancer of soul for your loved ones? And then say, you blame everything else for it going wrong, but you don't want to understand it's you who brought that wrong to it. When Chinese security tagged us, this officer, that we are a spy and we are here to recruit, and the other knowledge seeker accused us of for them to believe in it and went out with all the bullshit. Excuse my French. You trusted one who betrayed. Now you have to trust the Americans to play fair with you. We were clean, clear. And they thought they can steal. Now we put stop to that in a different way. We still carry on working with the military and those who are in concern. But knowledge seekers gradually will have to learn, will start learning. Any other question?
Yes, Hang Wei went on to talk about why he was concerned about that. He's mentioned an interview with Camelot that you had in 2016, where you said that our twin sun will actually affect us for 20 or 30 years at most. And that if mankind has not widely applied the plasma technology that you taught to make a new Noah's Ark or learn to transmute our souls, then mankind or other creatures on Earth will all face extinction. Is this the case, is his concern?
Case hasn't changed. Part of the global warming is that approach. And if you go back, as you read, we said in 2016 about talking about transmutation and taking man out. Now you're getting the tools of it. And how you do it. and the way you do it. And the procedure you do it. All gradually sets up and it'll come to what it is. The approach or closeness of the global warming, as you call it, nothing to do with CO2. Actually, the more CO2 we release, the more we prolong the suffering of man as the field forces the Earth to move into a new orbit in the coming time. Every time we have the approach of the second sun, not only we get showered by new meteorites out of nowhere from deep space or other edges of the solar system, that pressure pushes Earth closer to the sun. It's just outside get pressurized, so new levels has to be adjusted to be done. And that is part of the what we call global warming. This pressure is gradual. And if pushes us closer, the first planet near to the sun will pop in, will go in. And we have to take its place. It's a natural. Get yourself a balloon and hang things in and see when you pressure from outside what's going to happen. And this is inevitable. And we are going through that. It's time for it. But this time there are two things happening at the same time. The pressure from the twin star is coming in. It's time for it. But at the same time, the solar system is going through a magnetic field pressure that has delayed the Earth polarity change due to this fact. And sooner or later, this switch will take place and Earth will jump in by hundreds of thousands of kilometers forward. It'll be a switching time. I can explain this to you in a very simple way. The switching time through magnetic field, when it becomes converts into physical change. Those of you who were in a meeting of last week on Friday, how we had to interfere very rapidly, you could not hear anything from unit 4 and 5. And around about 9:30, 10 o'clock, you start sending messages to us that unit 4 and unit 5 start making noises. It was impossible for these units on a switch off button to change. They were on the secure on the platform and they could not change because there was nobody in the office. You all have a mobile phone. You have to go and physically press the button to switch it on or to switch the microphone on and off. Those of you who were in the session, you could see these units from 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon were put in the off mode switch because we did not need it, the matter state connection or communication line, because we already established the plasma line with you lot. And at 9:30, 10 o'clock, you made contact with us, and I was contacted by a team that unit 4 and 5 have gone live. Somebody has switched their microphone on. And this cannot happen unless a physical force or a magnetic field of the plasma has forced the switch. That's why you could start hearing noises. Plasmatic magnetic field has such a field force that can switch anything. And if it pressurizes it, can change the characteristics of the structure. You all know this knowledge. Those of you who worked on magraphs. How many times I told you, go back into the original time of when we introduced the magraphs, when you plugged it to the wall, I said, take the wires out of the building and watch, it's black coated. It's the plasmatic transformation, nano coating. It's the same. If your plasma can switch a matter into nano in the plastic cover of your wire, this is what happened in our transmutation session last week. That's why we stopped the session. We could not keep the switch off that you stay on a plasma level. It was switching back onto matter level. And now we see the magnetic field will bring that pressure, will force the plasmatic field polarity change, which is due now, it's been for some time. And this by itself would trigger a lot of earthquakes. We saw this pressure coming on and going on like a heartbeat. A few years ago, we announced the problem you'll see in California. Now we see that building up. Next few years, it'll become more. The prelude to the, what we call this magnetic field pressure approach of the second sun, Earth's gravitational magnetic field switch will set up a series of earthquakes, because this is the way how Earth handles its vibration. We'll set out a new volcanic eruptions structure, because underneath things will move. And if you listen to my talk in the past few weeks, I keep on repeating why Mr. Keshe is moving the Keshe Foundation conference in glorious city of Tehran into Isfahan. My dear friends, if you come to Tehran, you're sitting on a time bomb of the earthquakes. Isfahan is safe. Now we see how much we know and how much we care without you knowing. Did I invite you to the conference in Tehran? Why Isfahan? Isfahan has hardly earthquakes. You're safe. If in demonstrations of the Iran cycle of conference, we hit in that section into the Damavan, what we call field strength, and do something, we'll be blamed for it. Because we know the power of this. We showed this power of change of climate, change of condition to the Chinese government, the military, last summer in Beijing. 2 times within 2-3 weeks. Now you understand. It's inevitable, it's coming in, we see the signs of it. If you've seen the sign of tsunami, you read what is going to happen around you when it's about to come. This is the tsunami of magnetic fields, plasmatic magnetic fields, and every indication is the delay in the switch of the polarity of the Earth has to do with the approach of the second sun. There's no other way for it, because the field pressure from center and out have moved, reduced, or changed the position of the fields inside the core of the Earth. And delay, we've seen it. We are expecting it. Scientific world is waiting for it. And when that happens, you will see, usually it happens with no effect, but this time 2 things are combining, 3 things are combining, we can have a devastating effect on the structure. Not only Earth, all the planetary system have to absorb this huge energy. It's like, you know, these softballs you have, now you sit on it. It bulges out, but what's hanging inside goes more to the center and finds a new position. That second sun is you sitting on that ball. The content cannot change and the structure has to hold. So something has to give. And the telltale sign of it is we see. You understand? Any other question?
Okay, we see here we have Let's go to our online YouTube channel here. From Ping Peter says, when organisms die, their physicality often gets buried. After some time, they become coal, largely consist of carbon. Is this in a way of transmutation of carbon?
Maybe. Depends on the pressures, field pressures. In the world of diamond business, where they say when the volcanic eruption happens, the heat and the temperature will, creates diamonds because of the force of the forces and the pressures and the temperature. If you understand the creation of crystal structure with diamond is one of it, he understands nothing to do with temperature and heat. It has directly to do with the field strength of the carbon change. It just pops. But this was explained that way, and we accept it because there's no other explanation. Now we understand it's not. It's very much like if you're in diamond business. I was talking to another speaker about it a few weeks ago. Now you can buy diamond 10% of the value of 5 years ago. Because cultured diamond has come into market. It costs very little to produce it. And so why should pay people $1 million for a 10 carat diamond when they can buy a pink one, 20 carat for $50,000? And even that $50,000 is 49,000 profit.
It doesn't take 1 million years to make as well.
No, if you look, I can't get the name right. It's Swarovski, the crystal people. They have shops everywhere. They will start introducing, they have already started introducing these diamonds and diamond boards and diamond organizations cannot tell the difference which one is real one and which one is laboratory made. And now having a certificate for the diamond which they were trying to control is gone, is dead. You can buy the most delicious, beautiful diamond for 5% of the value of 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Don't buy a diamond, just wait till it's nose diving. There's no other. What's it called? I cannot get the name. They have shops in every airport. They're everywhere. They sell crystals, jewelry, and that kind of thing. Because of the reduction in the price of diamond, they start going to actually give you crystal diamonds structures from these laboratory diamonds. And we cannot tell the difference. We gave the original production of these to diamond boards in 2004, 2005. That this technology is now available. They wanted also, so we gave also guarantees we don't produce it. But now another way has been found and is getting produced. I'm getting told about IT people start putting orders for this material on the screen. We can produce limited amount of it. So we go on what we can produce and how it is and serve on the list of the order. But this, we'll buy this back in the future on the value currency if we need to, and or you can exchange it with other scientists or other organizations or other people who buy it as an investment. This has a huge, huge values. We can't even explain to you what you can do with it, what you can do with it. My thought was I use it in the staff formation. But you have to understand what you do with these things. Do not open it, do not touch it. Once you open it and touch it, it evaporates to dust. You don't have 1 gram, and then its combination changes. And then you understand why. Any other question?
Okay, from Malcolm in YouTube, it says, Mr. Keshe, regarding the discs, can you expand on their uses other than holding one in each hand or placed either side of the head or front and back connecting to the fields?
These, I have to spend time to teach you people how to use it. Those of you who bought it, just try to keep it and the way we used to use it, and then I'll show you one day how a solid one with a whole one and how a combination of them will create amazing structures, physical structures, and creates energies for specific conditions to be achieved. If you understand the process of the fields and if you can see it, this disc, if you use in the right way, in the right combination, you get a prism and you direct the sun to a point and you start burning the paper. If you've done this when you were young, this time you don't burn. This time you bring different technical development into it, but you have to know what you're doing. And it's extremely, these are the toys of the space travel, if you know how to play with it. You have a Nintendo, these are your Nintendos, but know how you play with the console, which is your soul and your brain. By the way, if you know or not, in the past few weeks, a new museum has opened up in Vienna, which is the museum of what we call gaming. All the computer console games, now they have opened a museum for it to see how people actually gaming. It's an interesting place to go to. Any other question?
Okay, from Claire in our Q&A here, who says, could you ask Mr. Keshe about the butterfly technology? If we want to place them in an open space or gardens, what distance between them for them to operate efficiently?
Planet Earth. There is no limitation in their connection. Most of these butterflies, especially those made in batches, come from the same process structure and are connected. If you lucky enough to get the same batches of the large, medium, and the small, and set them in that way in a specific formation, you will see amazing results from it. When you buy these butterflies, buy them in a large, medium, and a small, and then set them up in a pattern from each other. A pattern like you can walk through it, the pattern like you can put something in it and observe the feeling. Protect the house from all sorts of things. These butterflies have, what do you call it, have a specific, we call it a butterfly because it's the easiest way. It's actually a double loop and it's specially designed. And a special material used for it. It's a two infinity inside each other. It looks like a butterfly. They call it butterfly. But scientifically, it's one of the most amazing things if you know how to play with it. Put on one wall, a big one, put a medium one in the middle of the room and put a small one on the other side and walk in between it, and then you tell me how you feel. You people are too physical because your body do it. You have to learn to play with the fields. All these things we put out is playing with the fields for you to get to walk away from physicality. It's like the paintings. If you put a butterfly, a big one on one side, it's the same as what we call, you put gansers of different strength on two walls to create heat and whatever. If many of you have done that, this is the same process. The size of the butterfly creates different and put them opposite each other. Put one room in the house on the bottom floor, just a big unit, the big butterflies on four walls or in different positions, and put a smaller one in a further position from this upstairs, and then you see how you feel across the house, how people change in the house, how behaviors change. You're looking at a butterfly. I've given you some of the most advanced technologies, and you still after, does your start at G5, and what happened when the G6 comes? Any other question?
Okay, thank you. Question from Nato from the Brazilian community. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I would like to know why some babies are born at 7 months and if there's any difference.
Not really. The guy's in a hurry to get out to suffer more. Not much. It's the evolution of the completion of the soul. When the soul matures to a point of fields, the body rejects. They look at it a different way, but scientifically, you're dealing with a soul as a magnet of the mother, as a plasma of the mother soul, and the soul of child. And at a certain point, when the field comes, it goes. Nothing else. And then the physicality of birth is a consequence of maturity of the soul of the man.
Okay. From Vernon, who says, good day, Mr. Keshe. Transmutation took a tremendous amount of energy and left me drained. Why does it take so much energy to transmute?
It shouldn't take. It means you're pushing it, or you became a provider of what we call soul satellite to other souls. Those of you who took part in the last week session, please send us your experience. We receive from a number of you, but not all of you. And those of you who can't join us, because we stop by giving numbers because it's too much, but the process of actual setting up is started and it has to go through. What you see on the screen, the new material, it'll bring a revolution in the world of science. And that revolution has to be understood by those who use it. We touch the energy fields of the soul structure of the man, in a way, elevation. And you will understand, you'll find massive changes around you. In intelligence, in calmness, do not take them that I'm going to do this and that. Take them and just place them in the house, in your work, in your car, and use them into to create the fields. You will feel the difference, changing point. And these materials will never vanish unless you physically touch them or you tamper with the system. They inherently absorb energies they're not supposed to, and then you get the changes. Any other question?
Okay, we have, let's see here. From Freed in the YouTube, is apparently a company called Intuitive Machines with its lunar program Odysseus today connected somehow to the Keshe Foundation. The chairman, Cam Kafarian, is a born Iranian.
I have no clue. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me either. Okay, well, we'd have to look into that more.
You look and let me know.
Let me see what else here.
You're needy.
We're nearly done. Jalal has a hand up. We should let him go through.
God help us. Oh my God, help father and son. Come on, Jalal. Let's see what you have.
Thank you, Eric. Good day, Mr. Keshe. Good day, everyone.
Can you speak a bit louder? You're very far.
Yeah. Now you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Eric. Mr. Keshe, I have 2, 3, 4 questions.
I was expecting it's not 5 and 6 is good. 2 or 3 is not bad for you.
Okay. And before earlier years, your teaching, when I was needing something, I find it after 2 or 3 days when I come across your teachings. And it happens that now I find things and then you speak about it. Today, what you taught, I think I came across a condition where the kidneys produce such a thing. And it was amazing for me to understand how exactly. And I think it's easy to produce that.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I understand, Mr. Keshe. I understand.
That's good. Well, I don't understand what you're talking about, but it's good if you understand what you're talking about.
Okay, you speak, the kidneys produce this crystals.
No. We're talking about the kidneys' physical structure, not producing this material. The physical structure of the kidney is based, for example, it's the same with the liver. It's not just kidney. Your heart has the same kind of structure.
Yes, I understand.
It's not that it's producing the structure.
Yeah, but when you out of the fields, you see the manifestation of the materials as crystals. I think
when any material leaves the body of the man, is not in a crystal structure. Is in a matter structure of the material. Even kidney stones or whatever stones we call it.
Okay, but what if you see it in the crystals due to a condition of this?
There is a lot of body produces a lot of these crystals according to, but they are not the cosmic ray crystals. They are physical body crystals. If you eat certain fruits, your body produces them naturally, like sand. If you, for example, what's the name of the fruit? When you eat more than 5 or 6 of it a day, your body produces like a crystal grand sand. You feel it. And this is not plasma crystal. It's a matter state, which is totally different. We produce a lot of material crystal in our body. Part of our work is a system of digestion creates it because he uses it.
Okay. But in a way, I understand the creation of it.
Yeah, that's good.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. What's the second one?
No, nothing. That's pulling your legs.
Oh, well, one of them is already shorter than the other one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, you're welcome. I think you're going to have fun with this if you understand what to do with it.
In the picture here?
Yeah.
I know.
And your secret society testing. Which I'm a member of without knowing. It's okay, no problem.
We can bring you in again. No problem.
No problem. Any other question?
Kurt put in German, and I've translated to hello, Mr. Keshe. You said the gas electric unit was modified and further developed. Can you say more about it? Thank you.
We prefer not to because we are actually testing it yesterday. What do you call it? We are testing and as I said, we reduced the package quite a lot, and we most probably come up with. We try to show you this in the before after Sanya to see the system and see how it works, and then we go directly into production, hopefully with it. The development technology has brought new, strange advancements in the Keshe Foundation, and this is one of them. Any other question?
From Ed in the Q&A, who says, how come I felt a spinning sensation when the enhancement unit was operational in the previous workshop? Is that the system charging up the inertia of the halo above the head? What's the cerebral spinal fluid?
I don't know. Depends what you were short of and what you received.
You weren't inside Ed's body at that time to notice?
Oh, it depends how you feel. A lot of people are feeling a lot of things in this new, what do you call it, tests. I said many times, people go to different organizations and go to governments to get finance or whatever. With a meager, what do you call it, incomes we have, we do tests, and you're part of this test. You're the guinea pigs. And you have to tell us what you feel, and we see what we set up to achieve and what was achieved. And then we see who got it right where. And to what extent we have progressed. Any other question?
Stefania had a question in the chat. I think that's probably our last one here. Says the crystal in the universe are the ones that make us contain our physicality. Not
Which
quite.
crystal?
I think the crystal of the universe, perhaps crystal in the universe, she says.
Maybe.
And
as long
I'm
as we
not
keep
sure.
our sanity, I presume so. Maybe. If there is no more questions, I have a couple of questions sent to me by knowledge seekers, which I try not to bring into the teachings. And please put your questions in the sessions that it can be answered as it is, because some of it is very fundamental and some of it is just personal curiosity. If you have any questions, bring it into the teaching that everybody else can understand and share. Anyway, thank you very much for today. The Chinese community join us in the QQ tomorrow. We try to be there, and we have asked the Chinese community to come in with your what I call headphones, because Chinese never had this opportunity, and we try to give you some experience of what we call communication in different strengths, and we'll see how you enjoy the session, because the big session we had with the rest of the world, Chinese couldn't join us. Now we set everything up that we can go through QQ, that they can experience part of this, what we call beautiful joy of transmutation of the fields of the universe. And those of you who are still interested, join us in Sanya. It will be an amazing experience and another venture that we go forward to. As I said, we celebrate the 20th of March in Sanya as the Iranian New Year celebration. And we'll see how and the way we progress to the next step. Thank you very much, Rick.
Okay, we had a late hand up here, but I think we're done
Who's
now,
that?
I guess.
Who's that?
Bernard has been trying to formulate a question for the last half hour or so with various comments and so on. And can we allow a few more minutes, Mr. Keshe?
Go on. What is it?
Okay, let's see what he has to say. Go ahead, Bernard.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, yes.
Hi, I've been participating on and off with your knowledge seeker workshops for about a decade now, and I've replicated lots of the GANs, the gas, atom, nano, solid state acronym, as you call it. Others call it ORMIS, or the monoatomics, or the plasmid. And I've also replicated and built a couple of your Magrav coils and have several examples of that black nano coating that covers all of the wires that are attached to it, even while they're sealed with the plastic coating and all of that. And so basically I have many
You've been through
questions.
the run of the mill, as we call it.
Yes, but I would like to, if possible, schedule a follow-up interview, as well as opportunity, if you would be willing, or if you could get some of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers presentations together for a APEC conference that I help co-host. It's Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference, and it's an open source alternative energy, free energy, and anti-gravity research collective with lots of ex-NASA and different North American researchers and stuff. But it would be a very good platform to get your plasma field knowledge out there into the mainstream, as well as myself. I do YouTube now and have started this agricultural alchemy series where I've been using the GANs water. Lots of people also call it colloidal water or colloidal silver sort of stuff, but with gold, copper, and zinc in it as well. And it's basically identical to what I saw the agricultural group is in the KF SSI organization. And there's just a lot of opportunities and different communities that are understanding and experimenting and working with your GANs, your plasma, as well as these toroid coils that you make and have taught, and that there's actually a platform of researchers in the Americas that are open source that can actually comprehend what you're trying to teach, basically. And if you could or would be willing to do a whole day of KFSI plasma and field physics, it would just change things overnight, pretty much.
Thank you very much for booking or arranging a time to give interview or explain this. Send a request to info@keshe.foundation and put in there that you mentioned. Regarding the agricultural side, you have to speak to Jim in what you call Australia.
Well, I've got just a couple quick questions for you in regards to the color of the GANs, basically the oxide or hydroxides that form off of the different metal elements. And in my own alchemy research experiments and tying it to Sir Isaac Newton's recently released and translated alchemy writings of the colors of the different transmutational states of metal, that basically the difference between the white, the blue, the purple, the red, the yellow states, and the black.
There are many, many colors, and it depends on energy absorption or percentage of energy release into the environment. They change color. We've seen that. We go from blue to black and back to yellow and then blue again.
Yeah, so it's the black, like deuterium dihydride.
No.
Sorry,
the copper
yellow
goes
is
black.
sulfur, right? Sulfide, and then the ancient alchemists say the red is mercury state, but more likely.
No. You have to listen to the word no. He said it many times. You'll get it eventually.
I'm trying to explain.
You're mixing up technologies.
It's not actually that.
That's something we don't use in the Keshe technology. We don't use
color coding.
Metamaterial, and it's a hydride. And
no, you see, let me explain to you. It's beautiful what you brought up. It's fantastic what you're putting across. Let's extend the knowledge.
Yes, and sorry, I'm not trying to get specifics on that.
No. It's beautiful what you brought up. It's good for knowledge seekers to learn.
The purple, the blue, and the green, each one represent different states of the metal, and whether the amount of oxides or hydrogen.
Again, it's no. Let Mr. Keshe answer, because the answer is no, and no to everything you're saying.
You see, the color changes in the matter state comes different way. then the color changes in the plasma state. And if you go back to, I think it's book 3, I put a little glass tube with different GaNs colors in it, and I say they never mix. But they never mix. But if you have percentage of them losing energy, the appearance and the color changes. And then they gain the energy back and they go back to it. In the world of matter state, this hardly ever happens. Because once you take a color and shape, it stays. Because you are interacting with different fields, the interaction of the fields create different lights. This is what happens in plasma, in GaNs technology. It's not a permanent color. It's different field strength which manifests itself. So you cannot say you can have a copper going yellow and you can have a zinc going yellow. You can have a zinc going black as copper goes black. It doesn't mean that they're the same black. They're different field strength. And this is the manifestation of understanding the creation of lights in the universe or radiation. So when you speak change of color, it's nothing to do with the chemical effect. It's to do with magnetic field strength changes. And
sir, I absolutely agree with everything you just said. We'll have to continue this conversation at a later time, as I believe I've discovered an additional part of the solid state of the metals in physical color, and that it is a lost ancient science of alchemy and the color scale of transmutational metals, written about in all the different ancient alchemy science texts, specifically Sir Isaac Newton's, and that it might be a key in unlocking the connectivity of the plasma color light state, and the field forces of that specifically, and creating the physical manifestation of that color state in
I understand what you talk about. Let me explain to you something very interesting. If you manage to make a nanomaterial sheet, in a way, if you can
yes, sir, the latticing, crystal nano layer.
Let me explain something. If you take, let's say, take a sheet of whatever, zinc or copper or whatever, and make a nano layer that you can separate this layer from the zinc. Hold it in your hand and put a mono color underneath of it. And look above it into the material. You will see different colors. Very much like a prism. You will see the white changes to different colors in different holes. And sometimes all the colors are the same in all the holes. And then one by one they start changing. Once one changes, the balance of the field changes. It's the same hole, it's the same light. You're not moving anything. Because the field interaction of that whole position creates absorption of certain colors or adding of certain fields that it changes the colors. Then you understand what you're trying to say even in alchemy. This is not alchemy, it's understanding why they change color. The energy from the matter underneath of going through reflects according to the size and position of it. When you make nano layers, we saw this one for the first time in Ghent University with the professors from electrical engineering department. It was amazing how we hung a piece of wire. Copper was melting inside. You could see it floating like a water, but the nanotube was holding it. And then we started observing different colors coming from different holes. The professor brought all the system, the maximum current we could put on this wire, it would not bend, it would not melt, it would not break. But we could see the holes in it. Even go, the material, liquid copper, would not go through the holes we could see light through. Because it's a field strength is different. Because the copper inside is in a plasma condition, even though it looks as matter. This alchemy, you talk about change of colors, materials, we understand this. It depends what hole is there. This is the way the head of your femur decides what do you call it, limbs come out as a white cell, red cell, or whatever else. This we know. It's not alchemy, we don't understand. This is a physics now with producing nanomaterials. We have seen, if you observed it 15 years ago, plus, physically. So you haven't discovered a new state of matter alchemy. When you create this condition, you get this condition. You get the light reflection from the energies of the matter going through these holes. And so it manifests itself as different color.
Bernie was just suggested to share his camera. He has several jars of specific GaNs materials of specific
I have
colors.
tons of, they keep on changing colors. When sometimes I go to the lab, I see some ganses which were different color before, they're different, and I observed this one for years. They change because they transfer energy from each other. If you put your ganses bottles next to each other, see sometimes your ganses start going up the side of the jar, which should not do. All the waters, all the materials should be on the same level. You see, they start creeping up. It's like a moon at nighttime, when you get the cycles of the rivers or oceans. Put your jars of nanomaterial ganses next to each other and see how they change shape, not only the color. And how they change shape, it changes the color in them or the others, because they give energy, they absorb energy.
You want to have a look at those? Do you want to have a look at those jars, Mr.
No,
Keshe?
it's okay. I understand. I've seen these a lot. I understand that. The color changes with it. For your agriculture, right, Keshe Foundation, we put you in touch with Jim because he can give you a lot of knowledge. We can collaborate with you in what you're trying to do, and you can talk to Dr. Gatwa in that side. Regarding if you want to share knowledge with the scientists and scientific world in US, write to info@keshe.foundation. Explain you have talked to me to the meeting and you want a meeting with that. And it'll be a pleasure to share knowledge. It'll be fantastic to do it. Something which I have to explain to you. Next week, Keshe Foundation will give a presentation to the Italian structure. We don't know how long it's going to be, which will be translated to Italian. Is not a live presentation. They do the whole, what you call interview, and then it'll be translated into Italian, and it'll present a professional way to understand more about the technology and different aspects of technology. So we will give you the link in the next couple of weeks after they actually do the interview and they translate in the correct way. It's not a live translation. It'll be recorded, translated, and it's with somebody who's famous in Italy, apparently. With that, we'll do this interview. And then maybe some of you learn as knowledge, because in the English version of it, some will learn the Italian translation of it. Thank you very much. Send the information to us, and then we'll see how we can collaborate with your people in different platforms. Thank you very much, Rick.
Okay.
And we'll see how we take shape in the coming weeks. And I hope those of you who take this material have fun. But please do not open it. Everything comes with a serial number. These are literally live currencies, because you will understand why and how in the coming time. Keep them safe. It's not just plasma space material. It'll be a lot more It's an investment that you will appreciate in the coming time. Thank you very much, and see you next week. And we'll see the Chinese community tomorrow in a discussion with them. Thank you very much, Rick.
Hey, very good. Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Mr. Keshe.
Very much.
Thank you. All right, that brings to a close our 526th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here. And thank you, everybody, for attending and for all the great questions. And you see our next public teaching workshop is coming up. Let me see here, get my calendar out. That would be February 27th already, on Tuesday, with the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. And that starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. Again, on Tuesday, February 27th. Okay, I believe that's it for now. We'll go out with our usual flight enhancement, spaceship unit music version. And again, thank you all for attending, and see you in the next public teaching workshop. Bye for now.